Hey guys, so I've been out for a while, but now I'm here and I'm ready to share some stuff with you. This video is going to be rather short and long because there isn't a lot of technical stuff that I can explain to you. And if we're not talking about the technical stuff, the lighting and the ideas that I came up with were completely experimental. All I did is just look at references, collected the references, and tried to make something kind of my own. I wanted a lot of contrast, so I decided to go with black background and with this really cool gobo that separates the scene from the back. I think it looks pretty cool, but all I had to do is just experiment, and I had a ton of versions of this scene. There were a lot of versions of stuff that I didn't like and that the client didn't like. I think it overall came out pretty cool, so let's begin. First I'm going to talk about the modeling. The materials here are pretty simple, but the modeling probably took a big part of this. So let's begin with the box. I have a scene of the box saved. So this is a scene with the box where I modeled it, and I also have a backup folder. This comes really useful once you want to create a video or something. So I'm gonna show you how I made this. It's an interesting method, but it has some nuances. So I have a subdivision that subdivides thicken, that thickens remesh, that remeshes a plane. So let's turn everything off, and we have a folded plane. So this is just a plane that I folded. I had an unwrapped version as a texture for this box. I will show it to you right now. So I had something like this. It's an unwrap of a box, so nothing else. So I modeled it kind of really precise, and where the folds are at, I just folded it. That's it. So we have a object like this. You can see the details that I made, and yeah, it is just folded. The reason I made it so precise is because later I had to unfold one of them. I have render. I will show it up right here. So it came pretty useful. And it is really not that hard to fold something like this because, well, let's unfold this part. You just have to select every single piece, and once you have every single thing selected, just put your axis on the edge that you want to have as an anchor point. And later you can just rotate this and it's going to be completely fine. So usually we have only 90 degrees. But sometimes for parts like this, you just have to improvise a little bit. Just look at the boxes that are in real life. This is, I hope a pretty simple part for you. The only hard part that I had was the UV unwrap. I had to basically make this into an object, and with an angled selection, select all of the sides to unwrap them one by one and place them onto the unwrap. But even that, it was pretty simple, but it was just taking a lot of time. So let's look at what it looks like in a remeshed state. So this is what it looks like in remeshed state. And the reason I remeshed it is because I had to subdivide it later. So I thickened it and then I subdivided it. And it kind of looks pretty cool. So it looks like we actually folded it because it has like those kind of, squished edges that makes it kind of feel tactile. And then I just applied the subdivision. I made it connect objects plus delete, and then UN, and in faces selection you can just set this to like 5, and here you go. You have one side. You unwrap this as a well, let's actually try to UV unwrap this. So select everything and just reset the UV. And this takes a lot of time because C4D works really poorly with high polygonal objects. I just selected this with an angle selection, and then you can actually box UV unwrap this. Looks pretty fine. And with the tools that we have, I just moved it so it's really bad and it's really slow. You can just move this and place it and make the scale that you want. Probably this is not the best method. You could have subdivided once, then UV unwrapped it, and then subdivided the second time after you have the UV unwrap. But, you know, I'm kind of lazy to do that, so I had a lot of boxes to work with also, so I just did it this way. I had a lot of crashes in the UV space, so this is kind of my problem. But yeah, this is how I made the box. And in the scene, we also have this box. It's made the same way. The only difference that it has is I made a bowl with a cylinder over here. And then I remeshed it after the bowl so we could subdivide it nicely. And you see the mesh is pretty good. It's not the best one, but it's pretty good. So let's begin talking about the lighting. And this was the most taking long part of all of this project. So I will turn off everything. And I will begin turning on everything one by one. So the main light that we have is the infinite light. This shines from the top. It kind of acts as a sunlight. And we have those really cool sharp shadows. I don't usually have those sharp shadows, but since we have a lot of angled objects, kind of like boxes and all of that stuff, I think it's a cool detail to add. Most of you are probably wondering why do we have this black background if we have a sunlight? Well, that's because on my plane, on my floor, I had a gradient ramp. So I have a ramp that goes into the mixing of the materials. So one of the materials is completely black. So I have IOR at 1. So that makes it completely black. If we look at this, we have nothing. This is just the most black material that we could have had. And this ramp mixes it with the red material that I had. So this is the material without any adjustments. This is just the material that is on the floor. And to make this shadow, I just mixed both of them with the ramp. And later we have a gobo. So this gobo makes everything dark. This looks really contrasty. I had so let's look at the material. I had a pretty cool texture. This is a pretty simple texture. It's the one that I use most of the time. It is just an abstract, I don't know, wave thing. It looks really cool and you can use it in a lot of ways. So this is a way that I used it in. It just works really nice with the gradient plane that I had because it cuts even more and makes everything even more contrasty. And I thought that it looks really good already. And I thought that we have, you know, kind of like those objects and it's too dark. And we have a black object and it's not really highlighted. And I wanted to make some really precise rim light. So I added the backlight that has a ramp inside. So it has a graph inside and this is what the ramp looks like. So it kind of disappears on the top of the object and it also has a reflection on the box. I thought that it looks really cool on the boxes also. And you see it acts as a gradient even here. So we have a small gradient and a small rim light on the bottom box. And also we have this highlight on the insides. So if I turn this off, we don't have that. And this adds more depth. So I think this is kind of pretty much it. I also wanted to talk about the materials. I have a displacement on this box. And at the time that I was doing this, we didn't have texture displacement, but I used it as a traditional displacement since the mesh on the box was pretty dense and I could use that. So I have just a small displacement on the box itself. It's a texture that I made in Photoshop. If I locate this, I will show this to you. And when we have displacements of a logo or text, or just if we want something to be like embedded, if it's called that way, I believe, you just have to have a little bit of blur on it. So if we don't have the blur, I will show it to you what's gonna happen. So this is what it should look like, and this is what it looks like without the blur. So the difference is kind of big, and I really think that it makes sense to blur your textures. And also when you blur your logos, there's a high chance that the logo is going to go out of bounds and you're going to displace the thing that you don't want. So exactly because of that, I made a mask of the initial text, and this mask restricts the blur going out of bounds. this is a nice touch. I think it's also important to know. So yeah, this is the small scene. I hope you liked the video. This is kind of a really short video, a really small video, but I think it's better than doing nothing. So I hope you guys have a great day. I also have a really cool project coming up. I will display it over here. I made this watch from completely nothing. I only had references, and I actually had to find the movement itself, well, in internet, of course, just to look at what it looks like on the insides. Pretty interesting experience. I will try to animate it. I hope it works, and I will come back with this stuff to you later on. I think we can make a lot of videos from it. Bye bye.